Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to all my viewers. This is the 9th edition of Webby Sports Roundup here in sunny Tenerife. First and foremost, we're going to be with Mark here in San Eugenio Alto. We are in the Palms Sports Bar. He's told me to say it, and we're here. They had a great do last Saturday afternoon, so welcome to Mark. Right, this is what's going to happen this afternoon. We have got one of my favourite friends that I speak to on the phone all the time. He is a big ex-Arsenal footballer from a few years ago. I think it was in the mid-80s, if I remember. And we've got him live on the show in a few minutes' time. Ian Allison, ex-Arsenal, ex-Luton. We've also got my number 2, Terry, Liverpool fan, Thursday night, 8 o'clock. You know what I mean. And on top of that, we have got the man himself again. Listen, this man, everybody wants to see him on TV. They got him on the YouTube, WEBBY'S Sports Roundup. Another man, Simon from Karlovy. There's nothing he doesn't know about Arsenal Football Club. Is that right, Simon?
I'm the man.
He's the man, okay. What we're going to do, we're going to bring the main man on, and Mr. Ian Allison, ex-Luton, Arsenal, Colchester United. He is in the Hall of Fame, over 300 appearances. So what we're going to do, we're going to bring him on. Tim, cut it off. Right, okay, this afternoon, we've got the famous Ian Allison, ex-Arsenal. I think it was back in 83
started.
83 started, yeah?
Finished in 87 there, and went back to Colchester for a few years.
Okay, right, what we're going to do first and foremost, we've got a fair few questions from good friends of mine back in England and here living in Tenerife. And what we want to do, I'm going to give you the questions and I want you to give me your honest answers, okay? First and foremost, we've got Kevin and his 2 little boys, Bobby and Willie from Great Yarmouth. Photographs, as you can see there. First question for you, Ian, is your best goal ever scored, do you think, for the Gunners?
Best goal, I think the most important goal probably would have been the semi-final goal against Tottenham in 1987, when we was always behind and I got the equaliser. And then David Rocastle got the winner in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah.
I think the best goal I scored for them would probably have been a goal at Oxford United in the Littlewoods Cup in '85. We lost the game though, 3-2, and Oxford went on to the final.
Was that before the Kassam Stadium? That's the new one, isn't it?
Yeah, that was the old stadium.
That was
before the Kassam one. Yeah, that was the old stadium.
And that's now, it's a massive stadium, isn't it?
Massive complex there. They've got a big shopping complex.
Yeah.
They've got lots of other stuff there, and I say the stadium is fantastic.
Second question, again from Kevin again and his boys. Best game you've ever played in? And you probably may say that the first question.
Best game, it's very difficult, I think, being an Arsenal supporter all my life, but I suppose my debut was against Walsall, which was probably the end and demise of Terry Neal, because he got the sack after that.
Yeah.
It was the most important game probably for me. There's loads of games. I mean, we were one of the first games live on Match of the Day on BBC back in the 80s. We lost 4-1 at Manchester United, but playing at Wembley, playing at Anfield, playing at all of these great stadiums, I think you treasure every memory from that side of it.
Yeah.
But I think probably one of the best games was, in terms of excitement and everything, was the Tottenham semi-final. Though I got dropped for the final, which was a massive hindrance in my career, the semi-final, playing in that game or coming on in that game and scoring the equaliser and winning it was a fantastic experience.
Superb. Right, now we go to our second question. One of my good pals, Mark, is another massive gooner, lives down in Karlovy with me. What he wants to know is, what's it like away to Spurs when it was the hostile side of things back in the 80s, when you're away at White Hart Lane?
I think there's just general rivalry. Even now there's a lot of rivalry, but in them days it seemed to be, because there was a lot of standing, there was no all-seated stadium. If you look at some of the crowds in them days, we were getting 55, 60,000.
Yeah.
But everyone was standing up, so there could have probably been a lot more in than what's expected. Again, it's just one of them games. You're obviously going to be a little bit nervous coming out, but once the game starts, you don't have any nerves. You just get on with the game. You concentrate on a lot of the stuff that you have to do, some of the information you've been given.
Yeah.
And my record as a player at White Hart Lane for Arsenal was very, very good. I don't think we had a defeat there in the 3 games I played there. I think I played in 8 London derbies.
Yeah.
And the 3 games we had there, we won every time. I remember one on, I think it was on Boxing Day. We won 4-2. Steve Archibald got 2 for...
Steve Archibald.
They got 2 for Tottenham, and I think Charlie Nicholas got 2, and Raphael Mead got 2. and it was a great performance that day.
Names of the past.
Yeah.
He went on to manage, didn't he, Steve Archibald, up back in Scotland, if I remember.
I think he did, yeah. But then he went out to Barcelona at one stage, or he came back from Barcelona
he did.
after playing there. And then obviously Charlie Nicholas went back to.
Well, he was a Celtic boy and on TV. He was the man, wasn't he, Charlie
When
Nicholas?
he first came in, he was the man. I mean, everybody was after him. I spoke to him a few times, and he did say at the time that the bright lights of London probably didn't show him as much as what he should have done. At the time, he had them in Liverpool, and probably Liverpool might have been a better bet for him at that stage of his career when he came out of Celtic.
I'm going to go over to Luton. Luton Town, who's obviously now got into the Premiership after beating Coventry City in the playoffs, which is, I wasn't happy bunny then. But pal Ian from Luton, his photographs here with his Luton Town shirt on from Dunstable actually. Now what he said, what was it like being in the squad of 87-88 with Steve Foster, Mal Donaghy, Ricky Hill, Steen and all the boys there? And they had a lot of international players then.
I think it's one of the, I mean, obviously they've done an unbelievable performance to get to the Premier League with such a small town in terms of the playing facilities they've got there. But they were really good days. I mean, 87, 88, I was cup tied anyway, so I got dropped for the 87 Littlewoods Cup final with Arsenal, and then was cup tied for the 88 one where Luton beat Arsenal 3-2. But we had a really good team there. We had the AstroTurf, which was a massive advantage. But away from home, our performances were really good. And when you look at like Mick Hartford, David Priest, who's no longer with us, Les Seeley, who's no longer with us.
That's right.
You look at
Goalkeeper.
you look at Mal Donaghy. You look at
Man City, wasn't he, Mal Donaghy?
Yeah. You look at, they went to Manchester United, I think, Mal.
Yeah.
But you look at all of these players. You know, they were very, very good players. And I say Steve Foster, Mick Hartford, and we had a good side. All the Steen brothers.
The Steen.
And they
I met
did
them
very,
at Coventry,
very well. And we won that final 3-2. And to play with that team was really good. We finished 6th, I think, that season in the old Division 1, which we're in the Premier League now, which is the highest Luton have ever finished.
Yeah.
We got to the Littlewoods Cup final and won it. Got to the semi-final of the FA Cup and lost to Wimbledon. And Wimbledon went on and beat Liverpool in the final.
Fantastic.
And got to the Simod Cup final. I think it was, we lost 4-1 to Reading. But that was a fantastic season, again, under Ray Hartford, who's no longer with us.
And I went to the semi-final for Coventry Reading at Elm Park with a good friend of mine, Mick Martin. Drove up there. The game never started till 25 minutes from the start, just waiting for the Coventry fans, and the game finished at 11:15 at night, and they beat us on penalties. And I remember David Speedy, and I went onto the pitch to see, I had my arms around Cyril Regis and everything, always remember, and we lost, obviously, on that semi-final.
Well, we played them in the final, we went 1-0 up, and I think it's Gilks who was playing for Reading.
Gillian Gilks?
Yeah, he tore us.
Another quick story,
apart.
Gillian Gilks, he was favourite in the Littlewoods Cup final for the 100 metres.
Was he?
Yeah, 6-1 favourite. And a friend of mine, John Williams, the flying postman for Coventry, who I've had in my house over here, he won it at 10-1 and he won 10 grand.
Did he?
And he beat him. It was left at the start and he beat him. Absolutely, I'll never forget that.
But that Gilks just tore us apart on that day, and they beat us 4-1.
Superb. Right, we're staying on Luton. We got Laurie, the referee. Now, Laurie, the referee, he remembers you very, very well. First question, how do you feel about ex-players? Good question. Starting at lower leagues. Instead of like, your Frank Lampards, your Stevie Gerrards, they go straight into Everton, to Chelsea and all the big boys. Do you think they should start lower league and work a way up and earn their respect first before they get bigger?
As a manager or as a referee?
As a manager.
As a manager?
As a manager.
I think you've got questions in both ways in terms of where you're going to start on that. I think some have gone straight into it and been very, very good. I think Steven Gerrard went into Rangers and was outstanding in what he did in his first year in taking the title away from Celtic. Yeah. Obviously, you've seen Frank Lampard winning at one stage and turn Chelsea around, and then he's struggled over the last couple of years.
Yes, he has.
Gerrard struggled at Aston Villa, and I think it's really at what stage you get that opportunity. But I don't think it does any harm in starting in the lower leagues and learning your trade. I think it's a great basis to start. I think it learns and teaches some really good habits. The problem, some of these guys who have played at such a high level, they might struggle to compete in terms of the finances, what they can do and what they can't do. And I think they probably get a lot of it, would be frustrated in terms of what they can do from where they've been. And some of the some of the situations they've been in, they'd have been looked after massively by the big pro clubs.
Yeah, for sure.
And when you go in at a lower level, you really are going to struggle unless you've got somebody who's got the financial backing to support what you want to do.
It's very true. But Laura's a referee, obviously lower leagues, but I know he's run the line at Chelsea once, he says, and he did referee you with Steve Evans, and I think I may have said that to you before, but I'll get to that a little bit later on. When you were the manager, was it Stopford?
Stopford. Steve might have been manager of Stamford or Hull Beach.
Yeah, that's it. I think it was Stamford. Yeah, and he was a bit of a catch. There was good lady Doreen. She's a massive Luton Town fan. Now the achievement she thinks from non-league as a small budget to Premier, which we said compared to Man City, who's obviously got the backing of the Arabs and whatever. What Luton has done, even to me, is absolutely phenomenal.
I said to you earlier in terms of what Luton and Coventry both done this year to reach the playoff finals, probably with two of the smallest budgets in the league.
Yeah, they were.
Fan base at Luton is very tiny, though it can get bigger if they had a bigger ground.
Yeah.
Coventry again have obviously got their own ground now, but for years they've been playing around, playing away from where they are.
That's right.
So a great achievement for both teams. It was sad to see one team lose it, and I know you're a massive Coventry supporter, so.
Yeah.
But from Luton to do what they've done, I think they've been very fortunate. Nathan Jones fouled at Stoke because he came back and rebuilt the squad again.
Yeah.
And obviously Nathan Jones going off to Southampton and bringing the guy in now who's he just steadied the ship again and just kept it going. And I think they've had a fantastic season. I think if you look at I think it was their away record, I think they've only lost one game away from home all season.
Yeah.
So you've got to say that they've done a fantastic job.
They're a bit of a bully side. I thought they were big. There was no individual players. They were big, strong. Yeah. I think that's what beat us in the
but I
in
think
the final.
I think that's what Nathan Jones wanted, which he got. And as I say, they've just kept it going, and they are physically very strong. They're great on set pieces, in their own box and in the opposition box. They score goals from set pieces. And there'll be a handful. They'll have to make some signings, but
I was listening to Wrexham goalkeeper Ben Foster, and one of his podcasts, and what he was saying is, if you're in the lower leagues, you can do a lot of set pieces, throw-ins. When you get in the Premiership, nobody does long throw-ins. No. All them set pieces is all different. So it's a different ball game now. Luton have to change their tactics and do Plan B when they're up in the Premiership.
They're going to have to at some stage because the quality sides will pass them off the park if they're not careful. But again, you've got to say they've got to take their chance. They've got the money, they've got the finances, and I think it's fantastic for the town. They need the new ground. I know they're looking to maybe go and hire Milton Keynes out for 10 games.
Well, I saw the picture of the ground this morning, half it's dug up. And so I think it was Terry sent me a photograph saying, "Webby, why don't you do the plastic pitch again?" But you had Oldham, QPR, Luton.
They're not allowed to do the plastic pitch in the
That's all
Premiership.
done. No, gotcha. That's what it is. Now we're off to another massive Gunner fan. It's Ian in Thailand. He's a big DJ over there. Lived in Tenerife many, many years ago. He said, "Webby, can you ask Ian, one of his all-time great fans?" And this is his two questions. Pictures up here, don't forget. Right, first question. For Ian Allinson, out of 105 games and 23 goals scored for Arsenal, again, it's a similar sort of question. What game and goal is the one that stands out the most?
I think we've already just covered that with the Tottenham game. But I think the first goal for Arsenal was against Sunderland. Unusual for me because it was with me head.
Is that Roker Park?
No, that was at Highbury. That put us 1-0 up. And then we went 2-0 up, and then I gave a penalty away and got a rollicking from Don Howe afterwards for the missed time challenge. We won the game 3-1. So little things for me because of being an Arsenal supporter all our lives, family as well was important getting my first goal. As I've said earlier, playing against Walsall, but I've just been very lucky that to play 105 games, and there's lots of people that haven't had that opportunity.
No. What about, I'll tell you, I've not even just thought of it now. What about yellow cards and red cards? What was the situation with you with yellow and red cards?
Never had a red card in my life.
No way.
No, and I've probably had about 5 yellows.
Yeah.
And none of them would be for tackles. It'll probably be for verbal against the referee or the linesman. So.
And I thought you were a quiet bunny.
No, it wasn't. When it come to that, I just stayed on the outside. I just when you've got people like Tommy Smith and Harris and people like that want to kick you and put you in the stands.
Change the subject very quickly. John Hollins, you must have known John Hollins.
I didn't. I knew of. Yes, I did. When I first went to Arsenal, and I didn't know until literally 48 hours ago that he sadly passed.
76 years of age. Unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah.
You think fit people, you don't pass away at that sort of age.
No, you don't. No, and it's there's too many passing too quickly these days.
Too right. Second question: what do you think of the right man in charge now, Mikel Arteta, and how do you think he can take the club forward? That's a good question.
It's a great question.
Yeah.
I think it's anyone now that takes over a Premiership football club. For me, the club have to give them 2-3 years to manage.
Yeah.
I think there's too many managers coming now, and too quickly they're out the door. No one's allowed to build their own team.
No.
No one's allowed to bring their own people in to support and to take the football clubs forward. I think Mikel Arteta's been given time. I think he's been allowed to change around some players. And if you've seen some of the players that he got rid of and some of the players he's brought in, he's done a fantastic job. I think he's gone to youth, or some of the younger players, which has been a massive bonus. I think they bring an energy and an excitement and an enthusiasm to the team.
Yeah.
And I think it's really good in terms of what he's done.
I agree.
And I think it's only a matter of time he will keep taking the club forward.
Yeah, and they seem to have money this year.
Yeah, but I think they've always had money, but I think it's about the right person becoming available. I still think they need another centre forward. I still think they need a centre half. But I think with somebody like the lad from West Ham, Rice, if they could bring him in, I think it'd be a massive signing for Arsenal.
Well, he's one of my favourite players. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
And made an offer, another offer. So get the deal done. Don't mess about, get the deal done. The thing is, all right, change the subject very, very quickly. I mean, you're the same age as me. I'm 2 months older than you. I always remember October the 1st.
Yep.
So you get your pension, English pension.
Starts in October the 1st. I've actually got my letter through.
Did you?
I get a week to start with.
Oh, you've got it already? I got mine.
No,
mine comes through quick as well.
Yeah, I get the letter just said you only get a week to start with because they've got to do it every 4 weeks or something.
Yeah.
Innit? So.
More money to spend, son.
Well, I need it. Yeah, we need it. So
okay, you worked for Carlsberg for 30 years. That's
it's all right.
That's the reason why you didn't go professional in managerial, wasn't it?
There was a couple of times I could have gone full time, and as I said, for me, the security in football as a manager,
of course,
isn't there.
Yeah.
I decided to leave in 2019, went to St Albans. Thought I did a fantastic job.
Because Bournemouth, if I remember, we talked before that he wanted you to go professional, didn't he?
Yeah, he wanted me to go full time. He wanted me to take the club forward.
Yeah.
I decided not to at the time, which probably led to me leaving the club.
Yeah.
St Albans, I decided after a period of time to go full time but do some commercial work there.
Yeah.
Fantastic football club, the same as Bournemouth. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out. And as I say now, you're scraping around for a bit of a living at this stage, and I still want to stay busy. I still want to work.
Yeah.
I feel fit enough to do all that, and why I've got my faculties and my body's allowed me to do it.
Yeah.
I'll continue working. It's been something that's been in my life all the time. I've done 30th June next year. I've done 50 years in football as a player and a manager. So.
But you're at Colchester, that's where you started. You had
73, 74 I signed for them.
Was that a great time?
Fantastic time. Jim Smith was the manager, the old...
Oxford United.
Oxford United.
And Derby County.
QPR, Derby, Colchester.
Yeah, was he?
He was my first manager.
No
he used
way.
to frighten the living daylights out of me every time
I
I see him.
loved him.
Yeah, but I had a great lad, a fellow called Bobby Roberts was his assistant.
Yeah.
Bobby was great for me. He gave me a lot of opportunities. And I say to play for 300 and something games for a football club is a lot of loyalty these days.
Fantastic loyalty. It doesn't happen very often now.
No, it doesn't. And I say great times there, and it helps you grow up, especially starting at such a young age.
Right, listen, that's for me. I'm going to shake your hand and say
No
thank
problem.
you.
Thank you very
You're
much
not
for
going to
having
go
me on your
anywhere.
show. No.
Because what we're going to do, I'm going to go and have a little drink. I'm going to bring Big Simon on, all right?
Yep.
He's the big gooner, as you know. He's got a few questions for you.
Yep.
And we're going to bring Terry on as well. And then we'll have the three of you on for a few minutes. And then I'll have a drink, come back, well, the four of us, 5 or 10 minutes, finish the job off, and jobs are good, isn't it? So get ready. Another one, Ian Allison, ex-Arsenal, Colchester, Luton, Stoke City, and you finished up at Bulldog.
As manager.
As manager.
Player manager.
Yeah, because I did see you said Neil Notice player manager.
Worst decision of my life.
Was it? You didn't play up front, did you? You must have gone backwards.
Nah, getting back. It was just one of them things.
Yeah, I know.
But being a player manager, you can't do it.
No, you can't do it all.
It's just ridiculous.
Right, Ian, thank you. We're going to shut now. 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, boom, and we'll bring the boys on.
Morning everyone, my name is Mick. I'm the partner of Diane. We both own Diane's Bar in Fanny Bay, Torvisca Beach. We show all the sports, all the football, especially Liverpool. We do amazing breakfasts and food every day, day in, day out, up till 5 o'clock, and then from 8 o'clock every night, you normally have 2 or 3 entertainment acts on. We're packed out every night, so please come down and see us. And we watch WEBBY'S Sports Roundup on YouTube all the time. You must click on and go to it. It's a fantastic podcast.
Hi Webby, my name is Roger and this is at Monroe's Bar in Palmanova, karaoke bar that's been here for 40 years, and we watch WEBBY'S Sports Roundup. Boom.
Hi Webby, Ryan Tongue here from Diva Racing. I'm here in Tenerife and I can't wait to listen to your weekly sportscast this week. Cheers.
Welcome back to WEBBY'S Sports Roundup with Terry, and also you've already met Ian Allinson, and myself, Simon, the big Arsenal fan from Callio. And now we're going to talk about Arsenal with Ian, because obviously he's an ex-Arsenal player and I'm a big Arsenal fan. So my first question is, when George Graham come calling, what was it like when you found out that Arsenal was looking for you and got the call?
Well, the first one for me was Terry Neal rang me. I was just going out the door. I was living in Suffolk at the time, and I was just going out the door to play cricket, and the phone rang, and there was an Irishman's voice on the end of it. And I thought it was a bit of a wind-up, and he just said, I was meant to sign for Fulham as well on the Saturday, and I didn't. It just got held back to the Monday. And he asked me if I'd signed for Fulham. I said, no, I hadn't, but I was going to go and sign tomorrow. And he said, it's Terry Neal here from Arsenal. He said, you know, would you be interested in signing for Arsenal? Well, the whole family were Arsenal supporters, so I went, yeah, without doubt. He said, can you be in at 9:30 tomorrow morning? We'll have a chat. I said, not a problem. Got on the train, got in at 9:30, met with him, met with Ken Fryer, offered me a deal. Fulham, by the way, was waiting for me to do the medical and sign for them at the same time. And I always remember the deal I got offered by Fulham was slightly better because they gave me an extra year's contract. And in the third year, it would have been more money. And I always remember Ken Fryer looking at me and I said, look, this is what they've offered me, this is what you've offered me. And he looked at me and he went, yeah. He said, but what you've got to understand, this is the Arsenal. And I went, okay, where do you want me to sign? And that was it. And then I said, what's happening with Fulham? And Terry Neal said, leave that, I'll ring up Malcolm McDonald, which he did. And then the next day in the Sun newspaper, it was Allinson sells his soul for 10 pence and all things like that. It was just, they battered me for about a week. But like anything you do, you know, after a while, it's all going to die down.
It leaves you alone after a while.
It does, yeah. But it was difficult early on because I hadn't done a pre-season at Colchester because they banned me from training there. So I had to play catch-up. And it was quite difficult early on. I expected to go in and start with the reserves, or if you don't have an under-23 side, you had a youth team reserves and first team. I went straight in, and the first training session was Rick, Sanson, and all these, O'Leary and Jennings and all this lot, and I thought, wow, what am I doing here, sort of thing. Yeah, it was. Yeah. But they kept me with that lot the whole time, and around about October time, I really started to come to the fore in terms of my fitness levels, games, performances, and by first of November, I managed to get into the side and probably never looked back after that.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. It was a good time. Was it a good time when you were there? Did you enjoy it?
We probably underachieved for the side we had. If I'm totally honest, when you think our front line of Nicholas, Woodcock, and Mariner was a fantastic. You got Ricks, you got Sanson, you got Anderson, you got Paul Davis, you got Brian Talbot, you got centre halves were Adams, Caton, and O'Leary. You had Jennings and Lukic in goal. And then little old me, the only player that wasn't capped or an international was playing on the wing. And so we underachieved, but I think it was also, we went through some really funny years in terms of the Heysel tragedy and stuff like that.
The change of the game.
Yeah, we got, I think all English teams were banned from Europe at the time.
Years.
So again, we couldn't do a lot in terms of trying to progress. We finished, I think, 5th or 6th one year and probably underachieved for the side that we had there. Don Howe was great for me. He came in and took over from Terry Neal. And then we brought George Graham in for the last year, and George really didn't fancy me. I think I got to the stage, I was 29, 30. He wanted to bring some youth through, so you had Thomas, you had Merson, you had Rocastle. And it was the right thing to do at the end of the day. I just wish he'd have been a little bit...
Martin Hayes as well coming
Martin
through.
Hayes come through, Hayes came through as well. Perry Groves, they signed Perry from Colchester.
Was you there when Charlie Nicholas was there?
Yeah, Charlie signed about a month before I signed, so I had 4 years with Charlie, and then, as I say,
Champagne Charlie.
Yeah.
Oh, was he?
And he really good was. Player or overrated or?
People say to me, who's the best player you've ever played with? And I always say Charlie Nichols was the best player I trained with.
Right.
Because I don't think anyone really see what I see in training, what he did on the pitch, because I don't think he was consistent enough on the pitch. But in training, he was unreal. But he never really took that onto the pitch at times. Some games he did. Tottenham away, as I said earlier, he scored 2 goals and we won 4-2 at Newcastle. He got a hat-trick. And some games he was just unplayable, but we didn't see that probably to the level that we should have done.
I know one game, League Cup final, 87. scored 2 goals and obviously beat Liverpool 2-1. It was the first game Ian Rush scored.
And you lost.
And
you're
Liverpool
dead
Never won
yeah,
it.
basically, first time ever.
I got dropped for that final.
I was looking actually to see who was on.
And you scored in the semi.
I scored in a semi, played
Set up the assist for
played
Rocastle.
every game up until the final, and George Graham never even gave me an excuse. The reason I went and see George, I said, George, can you give me a reason? Or not George, but Gaffer, can you give me a reason why I'm not in the 13? It was them days. There's only 2 subs.
Is it Mickey Thomas and Perry Groves were 2 on the bench that day, weren't they?
Yeah. Perry came on and made both goals. Funny enough.
He did make both goals.
So I said to him, "What's the reason why I'm not in it?" He said, "Well, the reason is I don't have to give you an excuse." He said, "I'm the manager," and walked off.
Cheers, mate.
And,
Thanks for that.
little things like that just leave a little bit of a sour taste in your mouth. But listen, they won the game. It was the first trophy that Arsenal lifted for a period of time. So you've got to say he did a fantastic job. He got rid of a lot of the old guards, so myself, Ricks, Sanson, all that lot got moved on, which is, you've got to say, is right. He brought in Winterburn, he brought in all the young players, your Mersons, your Rocastle, Thomas, who we spoke about. And he went on and won the league in, is it 89, 90?
Yeah, we know about that one.
Where Thomas scored the equaliser in the last...
Ryan Moore, it's up for grabs now. And then Liverpool signed him.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
And he scored the FA Cup final Liverpool against Sunderland,
Took him from the Arsenal.
He still he plays, I know he plays for the Arsenal legends sometimes, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But he plays Liverpool legends as well
Well,
sometimes.
And in that 5-a-side thing, the 6-a-side,
That's naughty though. I saw it at London Arena a few years back.
Amazing that.
I played in loads of those 6-a-sides.
They are a bit naughty, they are.
Well, the Arsenal-Tottenham one got really out of order, I think it was the soccer sixes.
Tell us more, Ian. We want to know more about
that.
that.
Some of the tackles and things that went on, but we've got an Arsenal charity 11 playing on the 9th of July, just for mental health in around Hendon. We're playing Fresh Ego for a guy called Marvin Morgan, who sadly passed at 41 2 years ago, so we're playing a chain. But trying to get some of them players, what you're saying about Mickey Thomas, it's so hard to get them players. Jay Buford's going to play in it. The guy Chunks, the guy Chunks who's going to play in it. We've got Tommy Black's going to play in it. We've got Ian Selly's playing in it. So we've got quite a good body.
Another one. He had a bad injury.
He did.
Ruined him. 2 broken legs, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But he had 2 broken legs in 2 years.
Yeah. So they're playing in the charity game. So that'd be good. But again, some of the players, just need to do a little bit more in terms of trying to put something back into the community.
I agree. I do agree with that because nowadays they do get a lot out of it, and they get a hell of a lot out of it. Yeah. The money these players are signing for nowadays, you could only dream about that back in '83 and '87 and '89 when you were playing. The fees that they're on, let alone the wages, the transfer fees, and the money that they command from the transfer fee, the 10% or 15% signing on fee, you can see that is an unbelievable amount of money.
Well, do you know the sort of time you were playing? I was reading something the other week. I remember John Bailey played for Everton.
Big curly hair.
When they won the league, and I think they beat Watford in the FA Cup in '84, he was getting £300 a week.
Yeah.
That's what he was on then, apparently. £300 a week, which
I could
might have been a lot of money at the time, I don't know.
If we won 2 away games and an appearance in both games, I could earn more money than I did on a basic wage.
Did you get a good win bonus?
Yeah, the win bonus was really good, and the appearance money was really good.
Right.
So if I played 2 games in a week, that was 500 quid of appearance, and if you won, that was 700 quid. So you could earn good money, but you had to win, which I think it's all about,
so
and you had to appear in the
team. The win bonus was good though, yeah?
Yeah, the win bonus, I say 500 quid, it's not now.
Right.
Not when you think what the players are on now, but in my time it was. Yeah.
Right, so to give you an example of how things have changed since, we had a player at Liverpool called John Arnerisa.
Yeah.
Great player, Norwegian, great player.
His wage got,
You saw it, so obviously, I'm not sure if you heard this, years ago when he was at Liverpool, he got broken into, and a few weeks later his wage slip was found in the rubbish bin. And at the time, he was on 89 grand a week gross. Time on deductions and whatever, he got about 40 odd grand. On there was win bonus. Now, if you're picking up 89 grand a week, 40 odd grand take home, what do you think your win bonus should be? Truthfully, let's go that extra yard and
5 grand, I suppose.
500 quid.
Wow.
500 quid. So if I'm getting 40 odd grand a week, am I going to go that extra yard for an extra 500 quid?
For a monkey?
Yeah.
Well, I've trained for 5 days.
In fairness,
I've played 2 games.
That year, so you might
I've played 2 games. You're giving me 40 grand take home, and now you want to give me a monkey?
Yeah.
That don't make no sense.
But this is why I believe now that your appearance money and your win bonuses that players should be made to earn it, where they don't now because their basic wage, they can demand so much of a basic wage. They don't need to have win bonuses. I mean, you've seen, it'd be the prime example. You speak about Harry Kane. If he lets his contract run out, he's going to be worth 80 to 100 million in a year's time at 30 years of age. who's going to take that? He'll probably take it for himself, which is good luck to him. But again, is it something that, you know, players have earned that reputation?
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Good to say to you as well, each week we do little questions to people and we ask various questions and this and that. I ain't got the list with me today actually, but a few of them I can remember. One of them is, what team did you hate the most? Maybe as a fan and as a player. I can see the spuds coming out here, but
They love that word on this channel. They love it.
I think we've got to be careful when we say hate the most, but I think the most team you would always want to beat is your local rivals, which was Tottenham. I would probably wrong with saying I hate them, no, because I don't. Because at the end of the day, I've got some really good friends who are Spurs supporters as well. But you know, we do have a lot of banter and there's a lot of laughing and joking goes on. But I think when you look at that, probably the team that you want to win and compete against, especially with the rivalry with Arsenal, Tottenham. It's always been massive. But again, you look back and last week I wanted West Ham to win the
European
Cup.
Yeah, so did I.
I bumped into a few West Ham fans in the theatre bar the other week, which is obviously a West Ham owner.
Yeah.
And the Spurs fans in there were made up that West Ham won a trophy.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think if West Ham fans were made up, if Spurs
Tottenham
won a
won,
trophy.
they probably wouldn't. No,
They wouldn't.
I'm not
Probably
sure,
wouldn't.
you know what I mean? So,
Because no one likes Spurs.
yeah.
Anyway, the Spuds. No one likes the Spuds. Ian, it's been a pleasure talking
Thanks,
to you.
Simon. Appreciate-
Arsenal
thank
player,
you very
Arsenal
much.
fan. It's been great.
Really appreciate
Terry,
it.
We'll ask
always
more
a pleasure.
questions off air, mate. 'cause,
Always a pleasure.
We're being rushed here.
Never a chore.
Ian Rush.
Ian Rush.
Hello, my name is Ellie and I work at the First and Last, also known as the Mr. Sister ShowBar, where we have entertainment every night, 7 days a week. We're open from 10 o'clock in the morning till 2 in the morning and we serve food all night. You can have takeaway, we do pizzas, kebabs, and in the morning you can have your breakfast until 1 o'clock. We also have football on every day, no matter what sport you like, we can always advertise it and put it on. We have amazing shows like Lady Gaga or Mr. Sister himself, and we watch WEBBY'S Sports Roundup on YouTube.
I love to watch WEBBY'S Sports Roundup in Tenerife. Boom!
Good morning, Webby. It's your mate Ian here, all the way from Koh Samet in Thailand. Ex-Arsenal and England striker, as you know. But anyway, big hello to Wagsy and everyone else you get onto the channel and everyone listening that knows me from Tenerife days. All the best, Webby. Keep up the good work for your podcast. Everyone should watch it. Be there or be square. All the best, boys.
Ian, before we got the last 10 minutes, there was one I missed off. Sorry, Paul. We were just buzzing, running through.
Sorry, Spud.
But you gave me your question late this morning or last night, and I've got your photograph, and it's behind me here. And the question is a Luton Town question. Good question, actually. Will Luton be able to get all the necessary work done on their ground and get suitable players brought in and get team prepared for the start of the season, or will they begin the season on the back foot?
Good question. I think it's going to be tough for them to be ready to start the season, but I think they've got a squad that they believe in. They've got a squad that doesn't lose many games, as you've seen last year. So they'll probably set up being hard to play against, being hard to beat. I think they'll try and use the tightness of Kenilworth Road as an advantage, especially being at home.
Sure.
And if they play a system where they're going to get the ball forward and get it into the box and works for set pieces, they could be a handful. You know, we've seen that with Brentford, how well they've done. They've changed their style slightly now, but their first year in the Premiership, they were very forward thinking. They got the ball in the box. They used their strengths in terms of the long throws. And again, it's how they set up. I think away from home, they'll probably set up hard to beat. I think a lot of the footballing sides will give them some problems. But I think maybe their home form might help them. Can they get the players in? It's whether the players are going to be available. Will they have the funds? I know they're going to get
wages going to be as well.
Yeah, you're going to have your funds, and I think Luton have been very, very good in terms of the way they run their their budget. I think they're very good behind the scenes in terms of what they allow the manager to have, what they want, and I think it'd be one of them to see where we are by sort of October time before they make any rash decisions in terms of what they might have to bring in January.
So I think there's very little talk with regards to ins and outs at the moment, isn't there?
I think there is everywhere really. When you look around, I think the transfer window's only just opened. I think, as you see, the big money signings are happening. I think Liverpool made a signing very early on. Arsenal obviously are chasing Rice. Chelsea are chasing one or two. Man United are chasing Mount. I think the big ones are happening. It's where the smaller ones, and you know, Luton won't be in a position where they want to waste money on players. They want to make sure that they keep it right and try and stay in the division and start to build for the future when hopefully they will get a new ground.
Does it say?
No, go on.
Just in case. I thought Luton might move to Milton Keynes this season. 30,000 every week, loads of money coming in, rather than playing at a small stadium that's probably not. What was it, away fans getting
share it with
500
MK
tickets?
Dons. Share it with MK Dons.
MK Dons can do the revenue. They're playing in the fourth tier of English football. 30,000 seater stadium. It's a great stadium. It's not that far away, and I'm sure Luton fans would travel.
They could share it, couldn't they? They could do a ground
more
share.
Luton fans in, wouldn't you?
Didn't Coventry do that once?
Yeah, well, obviously we went to Northampton in one of it, but when we played it, say MK Dons, yeah, no. Thank you, Simon. I love you too, big man. Wait till you're walking on. I didn't give you a lift up today. But yeah, when Coventry play MK Dons, we take
microphone.
6, 7, 8.
Still.
Yeah, you can drop him off, that's for sure. But no, they only have, 10,500 at Kenilworth Road. They give it 800 tickets away.
To the
Liverpool,
away fans.
800 tickets.
It's not enough, is it? It's not enough.
But it is what it is, isn't it? So
It's
they're there,
like
let's get on with it.
I think what Luton will do, and what they should do, in my eyes, is take the money, build a new stadium, and whatever else. If they stay in the league, they'll stay in the league.
But they
if
have got the
don't,
plans
they
for the
don't.
new stadium. I don't know how far it's
take
gone.
the 170 million they've got for coming up.
I think there was talk, wasn't it? The top 10 games was going to go to Milton Keynes. You might be right in terms of that. But I'm not sure if the Premier League would allow it. In having so many games at Milton Keynes, so many games at Kenilworth Road, it might not be feasible for the league.
It might be all or nothing.
Yeah, I think you've either got to make
all
a decision.
or
The
nothing.
other thing I saw about Luton today is I was going through all the fixtures, like Liverpool are here and Salta are playing Australia, and Luton at the moment have not got one confirmed pre-season friendly.
Haven't they?
Not one.
Well, that's
Which
sad.
I find shocking. I mean,
Yeah.
That's
surely
sad.
they must be playing what, I don't know, the Dog and Duck in Milton Keynes or someone. But
Surely they could play the top 10 Prem teams, under 23s, and games like
they
that.
haven't got any
Got to get
pre-season
warmed
fixtures
up.
confirmed, which I don't know about that. I mean,
They'll probably look to do their pre-season probably somewhere, I don't know where, it might be Spain, somewhere like that, and they probably might try and fix them behind closed doors.
looking for an easy game. Make your mob, can't they? Get back into it. Hey.
Do you know what I mean? Let me tell you, Thursday night, 8 o'clock, you're doing my head in, you son. I'm telling you, we're going to have problems. Right, listen, it's a bit of breaking news. Come on, Bournemouth. Sack O'Neill, he's only been permanent manager for 7 months after being caretaker.
Why?
Ridiculous.
Now, I believe it was to do with the transfer kitty that he'd had available. Now, they bring in this guy.
What, 2 days later?
Well, yeah,
1 hour later.
I don't believe it.
from Atletico Bilbao. He was only using the Basque Country players, and he's played 500 times for Bilbao up there, I think right fullback. And he was from Rayo Vallecano.
He was wanted by a lot of teams.
A lot of clubs, a lot of big clubs.
A lot of teams on him, but I think they didn't they get relegated this year, Vallecano? Did
Yes,
they got relegated.
There was two.
So maybe Osasuna and Rayo Vallecano. So I don't see how they took him straight away like that. There's got to be more in it. Because
for sure.
You can't sack Gary O'Neill for a footballing reason.
No.
Impossible.
But he kept
what
in the Premiership,
he's
didn't he?
done this season for them is above and beyond. Above and beyond.
No, not being. Didn't they beat your mob 4-0? No.
Yeah, we beat them 9-0. So.
No. Did they beat your mob at home 4-0? Yes or no?
No, 1-0. And Salah missed the penalty.
Was it? That's irrelevant. He never scored, did he? So he lost 1-0.
Yeah, lost 1-0, not 4-0.
I'll tell you, we won't have it, will he? Blinkered, didn't he? Blinkered.
But we put 9 past them. So.
But what is the reason behind his sacking? You're saying about the transfer.
That's what I heard. Again, the transfer funds weren't there, and they wanted somebody. He's young, energetic. Other clubs want him and whatever. Right, let's go to Scotland. Brendan Rodgers. He's gone back to Celtic, hasn't he? He won 7 trophies when he was there.
Gone back. Right, my Celtic mates call him the Rat.
The Rat.
But now they're calling him the Prodigal Son.
Well, he was,
right? They called him the Rat like 2 years ago, but now he's the Prodigal Son all of a sudden.
Well, he's been gone probably. He went 2018-19, went to Leicester, didn't he? And he should have stayed at Leicester. I think if he would have stayed at Leicester.
Can he do what Ange's done now?
Who knows?
Great job, didn't he?
He did a
Done a
phenomenal
great
job.
job.
That's why he's gone to Tottenham on bigger money in one of these. So
Yeah, but
is
will he
going
do
to
it
give?
there?
Is he going to? I know. Is he going to
Come
give?
on.
Is Daniel Levy going to give him the money?
He don't need the money. No manager wins trophies at the Spuds. It's proven. Mourinho, Conte, they're all big trophy winners.
If you want his address and telephone number,
Sorry.
call me on dog.
Tokyo FC in a few weeks, mate. Tokyo FC. All them Japanese players.
They'll all be there,
They'll all
mate.
be going
Catch
down.
the
Well,
odds
listen,
in a
well,
motor.
yes.
They won't be that good in the Premier
They
League.
will sell a lot of shirts, though.
Yes.
Yeah, they will say
Yeah.
Before we go to the European Championships, listen, Man City, they signed the Chelsea, they haven't signed him, but it's done deal nearly, 30 million. He didn't want to go, but he's going.
Yeah.
That's because one or two Man City midfielders are leaving, aren't they?
So they say.
30 million.
So they say.
That's decent money.
It's good money. He's only 28.
He's a great player.
Good player.
Decent player.
Yeah.
Good business, that.
Good
But
player.
they're clever, isn't he? He's clever. He's clever. That manager there, isn't he? Pep.
Well,
Pep.
Well, I just hope Arteta's clever because what he sees in this Kai Havertz,
Yeah.
I don't see.
Oh, yeah, of course, clever. They're
I
talking
don't
65,
see.
70 million.
They offered 60, turned it down. They've gone back in today with 65, and it looks like it's going to get done.
So
But I'm
dodgy
not
going
happy
on
at all.
Chelsea, mate. We said this the other day.
We- yeah.
Well, they spent 600 odd million. They got
Who's the
nowhere.
majority shareholder in
The
that?
majority
Top
is-
Polish
yeah,
company,
exactly.
Saudi Arabian company. All these overpriced players coming in for
Yeah.
600 million.
And they're all going back to Saudi Arabia all of a sudden.
Deadwood on, again, not just on a free.
Telling ya.
They're going for big transfer
Chelsea and Man
fees
City, they've got
on
to be
big
hauled over
salaries.
the
Yeah,
coals,
yeah, yeah.
mate, the pair of them.
Mason Mount, Man United from Chelsea. Yes
offered,
or no?
offered 40 million.
Yes, I know.
Well,
It's
offered
got-
40
it's
million.
gone to 50
and
now.
they want 70.
Is he worth it, Ian?
No. not in my opinion.
I'd say that last year he's had a poor year, but up to then I felt he was done really well. Whether he's 70 million, is anyone worth 70 million?
No,
Yeah.
no
You know, this
player
is what
in the
you've got to
world
look
is
at.
worth that
Unfortunately,
money.
the money's there, so if you've got that money, they'll pay for it. But
Yeah, they will.
he's a good player. If they can get him back playing how he was 18 months ago, then I think you've got
Then
a
he's
good
got,
signing.
he's got a good
Yeah,
signing.
yeah.
But who's going to leave United?
He's better than
McTominay, Fred.
Fred.
Yeah.
McTominay's definitely going to go, isn't he? He's
Yeah.
going to go. He don't
Newcastle will have
fancy
him,
him.
won't
He
they?
don't
He'll end up
fancy him.
somewhere like that. Yeah.
And we're talking
Newcastle
Chelsea
or-
this morning. They're talking 8 players out, bringing in 1 or 2. Oh, I just.
McTominay might go to West Ham with Slabhead, Harry Maguire,
Oh, mate, Harry.
in a swap.
Hey, Harry.
In a swap
Harry,
for Declan Rice.
You love him. You'd have him at Liverpool, wouldn't you?
Man United are
Two
talking
scores
about.
this
Man
week.
United are
He
talking
did.
about right.
Touched ball about 10 times.
He didn't have to do anything else, did
Against
he?
the Dog and Duck and the Georgian Dragon.
You must have some commission in that dog and duck in the Georgian Dragon. That's why you keep talking about it. You know what I mean?
I could've- do you know what,
United
he could've
reckon.
played
United
10
reckon
players
they're
the
going
other
to
day, still
offer.
won.
Yeah.
They're going to offer McTominay
Yeah.
and.
But Newcastle
and
were after him
Slabhead.
as well, I think.
Yeah, but they're going to offer McTominay and Maguire
yeah.
for Rice
Yeah.
with a bit of money.
Yeah.
And that could be a deal for West Ham because West Ham wanted Maguire, as Sean Murphy
Yeah.
did say.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'd
mate,
take
they
Maguire
won last-
straight
they all
away.
won him last week.
They all want him.
Best
West
offer
Ham.
so far, Mark Lacey, Leeds fan, said we'll take him as a corner flag. That's the best offer, I think.
As a paving stone.
Well, listen, let's quickly go to the European Championship. Let's hit the big boys of England. 4-0 away at Malta, 7-0 North Macedonia. First 20 minutes was a bit poorish. Then I did say Saka, he couldn't catch a pair on his foot. You know what I mean? And then he went bang, bang, bang.
Stockport, 7-0 against bloody Walsall. I mean, same standard.
And Harry Kane got another penalty.
Didn't North Macedonia
On his
beat
mantelpiece.
Germany in Italy last year?
Hey?
Check your figures, Marcel.
Right.
I think North Macedonia
The
beat
Germans-
Italy in Germany last year.
And not the force they were years ago.
Doesn't matter,
literally,
still beat them. It's on paper.
How many
Well, let's
decent
talk about
German
Saka's
players
hat-trick
there?
anyway. Let's talk about Arsenal
Five.
again.
Oh, does he
Saka's
play for
hat-trick.
Arsenal, does he?
Of course he does. He's the boy, the golden
Oh, you're
boy.
laughing.
Golden boy.
I thought he couldn't pass that left-footed full-back.
300 grand a
could he?
week, I'd be a golden boy and all, I've got to tell you.
Saka
Do you know
scored
what
the
I
other
mean?
night.
Yeah, I think he scored 3.
Only scored hat-trick, tell.
And he picked
Get it,
the ball
right?
up.
And he caught a coconut.
Right, listen, forget that. Scotland, top of the table, 4
4
games,
out of
4
4
wins.
I watched them last night.
Unbelievable.
Brilliant. Stayed up
2-0
to watch
last
it.
night,
Yeah,
Georgia,
decent
and they
game.
beat Norway 2-1. Haaland scored only with a penalty, and they scored 2 late goals
Got
to
a
win the
decent
game.
captain Scotland.
Robertson.
Yeah. Don't tell me he's Liverpool.
He was a bin dipper, of course he is.
I'm
He
going to
cost-
get a shirt for him for Thursday on
He
the back.
cost
Right.
£8 million. Harry Maguire was 80 million.
Oh, for God's
Same
sake,
club,
yeah,
they come
yeah.
from Hull. Just thought I'd put that in by the
Oh,
way.
Yeah,
right,
get it
right.
in there.
Wales, they're abysmal, aren't they? Albania.
Shocking.
Armenia.
1-0
up.
Henrik Mkhitaryan.
And they lose 4-2.
How embarrassing.
Do you know anybody in the Welsh squad or in that sort of era?
No, not anymore.
No?
No,
You don't want to do that?
Wrexham would have given more of a game.
Yeah, Wrexham should have played them. Wrexham
veterans
should
who
have
beat
played
the Birds the other
Armenia.
week,
Then you
12-0.
played Turkey. You wouldn't even go to Turkey on holiday. And Turkey's beaten Wales 2-0, aren't you?
Turkey's always got decent
And then was it Northern Ireland? Did they get beat by a lowly club as well, Kazakhstan.
Yeah,
They
Borat.
lost at home to Kazakhstan. Borat scored the winning goal.
Do you know what I do my head in? Right, listen, there's the football. Done, dusted. Right, listen, before we go, just want a couple little small thank yous and what
Don't
I do.
forget the shirt.
I want a big shout out.
How's that dart race getting on? Any news?
This man wants a dart. What do you want?
We're going to bring back, like I used to have on Dave, women's topless darts.
Oh my God. That's
And
like
you're filming it, Tim.
And you're, hey.
Oh, that's a shame. You can hear it later.
Topless, are you right? Listen, Cole's Place, all right? Top man, lives in Bournemouth, invited me on yesterday afternoon to do a 20 questions, anything, absolutely superb. So, Tim, if you could, can you put his link up there, please? And he got me quite a few subscribers yesterday. So, Colin, I enjoyed that. Yeah. Thank you very much, Lee. Absolute top top. And we've got something to do in the summer. I'll talk to you later. On top of that, charity auction, it's coming up very soon. That's in August. Tomorrow, Fact are in Sunset Bay in the square. You better get your seats early. There's going to be 300, 400, 500 people singing from 2 o'clock until 8 o'clock in the afternoon. It's going to be a phenomenal afternoon. Round with the buckets, putting a few quid in. Plenty of food. It's going to be, I'm doing a 5-minute speech. Hopefully it's not going to be 10, 15 minutes. On top of that, if you like what you see and you like what you hear here, please subscribe. It's all for free. Webby Sports Roundup. We're going to have lots more guests over the next few weeks. Sport, you name it, we have got it. So all you got to do is press that little button. And the link is, where is it? It's down there. He keeps telling me, it's down there. It's down there. Is it down there, is it?
Yeah.
It was asking you, Si.
Sorry, mate.
Sorry.
He can't hear, that's all.
Yeah, I know he can't hear me.
It was up there the other week.
So if you want to check on the
like
charity or stop it with you, charity auction items, okay, go to timothydowd.com/Webby and you will see them. If you want to make a bid, there's 7 items on there in the moment. We've got 1 or 2 more coming. Another one's here for 2 seconds we'll talk about. And I think you've got to do email, name, all legitimate. It's all for fact. Fighting against cancer in Tenerife. Here we go.
50 pence for that Dabo ball that went over the bar the other week.
50 what?
50p for that ball Dabo put over.
I'm going to knock him out. I'm going to knock him out.
Do the shirt.
I've got the shirt. Now, Ian Allison, tell us a little bit of story about this, please, Ian.
Well, the shirt is from my granddaughter during lockdown did 100 miles in 100 days, sort of say a mile a day in 100 days for the hospice, the Garden House Hospice, who my wife works for, and she raised £37,500 during that period. David Beckham sent a signed shirt in, and what we did afterwards, we set up a little bit of a charity team called Betty's Blue Boys, and we're still running some games now. And we got the shirt signed by Chunks, who's a massive YouTuber. If you go and look him up, he signed the shirt. We've got a photo coming with him signing the shirt as well, so all legit. And if you want to give as much as you can for something like that, then please feel free to give as much as you can for a great cause and a great charity.
Yep, we'll put that shirt on sometime this week, and then when photo comes across, we'll band together, and all you can do is bid for it. We'll put a minimum price on it, so that's fine. The more we get for charity, for cancer, absolutely true. But you know, they've got 200 volunteers. What they do is nobody's business. All I'm going to say to you now is thank you very much indeed for my great guest, Big Simon, as normal.
Cheers, Webby. Thanks
Simon
for having
will
me
be
on,
on
mate.
very soon.
It.
Terry, my number 2 man, he's going to get a pair of trainers soon, so he's after me, out of the budget. And one of my very good friends, ex-Arsenal, Luton, Stoke City, Colchester United, Ian Allison. Ian, thank you very much indeed. Absolutely top man. And obviously, my main man, living with MS in Tenerife, he's my bottle washer, my, what are you? Director, producer and cameraman. Thanks, Tim. Take care. I'll see you all soon. Please subscribe. Afternoon, boys and girls. Here we are in the Monte Cristo, here with Dave and all the boys and girls that'll be here a bit later on this afternoon. This is Webby Sports Roundup. After we've done all the football with Ian Allison, Terry and Big Simon from Kalasovaki, the big man, knows everything about football. We're moving on to the sports news of this week. First and foremost, we go into sports news. Verstappen wins the Canadian Grand Prix to deliver Red Bull their 100th victory. He leads the championship now by 16 69 points. Alonso was second, and Lewis Hamilton in his Mercedes was third, and he's gradually closing the gap, but it's going to be too late for sure. Looks like he's signing a brand new deal with Mercedes for 1 or 2 more years. Next on, we go for the Betfred Challenge Cup Rugby League. It was the quarterfinals the weekend, and we had wins for Wigan, Leigh, Hull KR, and favourite St Helens into the last 4. Now, next round is the 2 semi-finals. We've got July the 22nd, which is Leigh against the Saints, and July the 23rd, which is Wigan against Hull KR. St Helens favourites after winning the league last year. They just started to creep up to catch Warrington and the Catalans in the Betfred League. Moving on to a little bit of tennis, which we haven't talked for a while. Scottish, British, whatever you want to call him, Andy Murray is one of us, and he clinches the Nottingham Open title after his 10th win in a row. So come on, Andy, let's keep it going for Wimbledon. Also, on the ladies circuit, we saw Bolter beat Burridge to win the WTA title at Nottingham in an all-British final. So the ladies now are starting to creep up into the top 100. Right, should we have the horse racing? We'll leave the little horse racing to a couple of more minutes. A bit of US Open. Wyndham Clark of USA wins $3.6 million. Where did they get it from? I think it was a $15 million purse overall. Absolutely unbelievable, the money there. He wins his maiden major title in Los Angeles, 1 shot ahead of our own Rory McIlroy. The Scotty Scheffler, world number 1, 3 shots back with a final round of 70. That should go for this week. Yeah, we've got the Ashes. If anybody watched the Ashes on the 5 days, it was a phenomenal and absolutely classic. It went to the last day and the last hour. Aussies edged it past us. England in all-time classic at Edgbaston. Unbeaten on 5th last week of 55. 281 chase they had, the Aussies, on the last day, and they won with 27 balls remaining. Don't forget, 4-0 whitewash we had 2 years ago, so we're creeping in together. We're getting it closer. Next one is at Lord's on June the 28th. Now, the horse racing fancy. And the reason why we can't give you a tip within 24 hours is because the declarations don't come out for 48 hours before, obviously, the race. So what Lee Sobot does, looks at it, the declarations 2 days before, and he gives us one of his own fancies. He is a horse racing favourites man. We are winning if you do by profit. If you do a £5 a week or a £10 a week, we're still about 10 points ahead. Israel, second last week. That means we've got 3 winners from 7. But it was, don't forget, 7-1, 9-2, and a 3-1 SP. So that keeps us well in profit. This week's fancy, again, is at Ascot Saturday afternoon, which is tomorrow, the 3:05. It's the Jersey Stakes called Covey. Franco Colt and his John Gosden's one of its best horses he's got in the yard, and he thinks it's a great fancy this week. So all you got to do, just have a few quid. It's 5-2 at the moment, might be a bit shorter on the day. Fingers crossed. Thanks, Lee, for your fancy. We've got more to come. Right, that's all your news with regards to the sport of this week. Just a little bit of talk about the auction and so on and so forth. But don't forget, if you like what you see and you like what you hear, it is Webby Sports Roundup. Subscribe for free down in the bottom left-hand corner. Send it to all your pals, your friends. Let's enjoy it. We do it every single week. We're going to start changing it as from next week. Okay, in the title, we're going to probably do 2 or 3 little videos to make it more interesting. And all you got to do, we want the watch hours now. Subscribers, we want up to 1,000. We want 4,000 watch hours. What you got to do, put it on your TV, go and have a cup of tea, take the dog for a walk. Okay, go and have a shower, do what you want, come back and it's on there. That's the watch hours. That's what we need on Webby Sports Roundup. Subscribe for free. Right, tomorrow, fact, they've got their 1 yearly annual event in the square in Sunset Bay. I'll be there with my good lady. Then we'll do a bit of a 5-minute speech. Let's hope it don't go no further. I'm sure it won't. There's going to be 300 or 400 people up there. So they're going to be raising funds for their own fact, fighting against cancer at Tenerife, okay? buckets and so forth. There's going to be prizes, singers from 2 till 8 o'clock. It's going to be a fantastic afternoon, and I'm going to discuss my podcast, what I do here in sunny Tenerife, and obviously with regards to the charity auction we're doing. We've got 7 items on there at the moment. Number 8 is this one, all right? Let's turn it around. It's number 17. Okay, there it is, Tim. Signed by Chunks. If you go on, if you're a YouTuber and you're young, he's got 2.84 million subscribers, and he got something like, oh, don't ask me how many videos, millions. He's absolutely massive. He did play in the charity UNICEF in Old Trafford a couple of weeks ago. Came on second half, and he's massive. That is the shirt that you can bid for. Ian Allison, ex-Arsenal, who obviously I've just interviewed. He brought it over for me. We're going to get a photograph with him, signed it, okay? And that's going to go, obviously, on the channel. Right, let's have a look what else we're going to do.
Where do we go to the auction?
I'm just going to go. I've got it there. Tim, listen, he's always putting his 5p in. How are you, Tim? You all right?
I'm the director.
You're the director. What else are you?
Bottle washer.
What else?
Producer.
What else?
Cameraman.
What else?
Chief bottle washer.
That'll do me. Unbelievable. But he's there. He's loving it. Smiling. Right. What you have to do, you go to timothydowd.com/ or is it that way? Webby. Go on there. You'll see it. Scroll down. You'll see all 7 items. What you got to make. Do it to Tim. It says, tell Tim, bosh it. Email, name, telephone number. It's all done legitimately, okay? And we're going to get the details, and all the money that we earn will be sent direct to Fact. Nothing through us. You do it direct to them, so they get every single penny in their account. For obviously they got 200 volunteers, which is phenomenal. They drive all the cancer patients up to Candelaria, which is in the north of Tenerife. They do a great job. So we're going to try and raise as much as we can. And we've got something coming up. I'm just organising at the moment for July or August, all right? So please, this is going to be funny. You've got to wait and see. I've asking a few people to help me and do it, and we're going to do it. Right. He's just doing this for me. Just doing this for me. Let me have a quick look. Anything else? So we've got the new item. We got Chunks. Place a bid. Register. Shout-outs. 1 or 2 big shout-outs before we go. All the sports bars, they're obviously, that were on over the last few weeks. Big shout-out to Matty at the Sky Bar, Porta Colon. To Mark, the Option Grapes, if you fancy a little flutter. To Damo at the Market Tavern, big Man United fan in Los Cristianos. To Big Mick at the Queen Vic, London Irish, Rugby Union. We've got Richie at the Rumpot, another Man United fan. Rocky at the Winchester, a Liverpool fan. Hiya, Rocky. And last but not least, we got Andy Swallow, Joyce's Bar, Rejoices in Veronica's and in San Telmo. Thanks for last week, Andy. Top fella. That's all the West Ham boys. Right, that's it. It's done, dusted. We got the sun. We're going to have a couple of beers tonight. Don't forget, if you fancy coming up on a Friday night, every Friday we have Freaky Friday with Tim, living with MS in Tenerife. If you're not subscribed to his channel, he's my bottle washer, director, whatever. Subscribe to him as well. All I'm going to say is, hope you've had a great week. Please subscribe if you like what you hear and like what you see. And I will see you next week. From me, Webby, Sports Roundup. Take care. Bye for all.